Good morning, students. Our today's topic is centralization and decentralization. Now, students, we have already learned what is centralization and decentralization, because in the second chapter, when we were talking about principles of management, Fayol has given one of the principles, and that is related with centralization and decentralization. So, once again, what is centralization? Centralization is the concentration of authority or power in the hands of few people who are at the top. That means when the entire authority or power that is concentrated in the hands of top level management in the organization, only top level management takes decisions related with all the operations which is being carried out in the organization. It is centralization. And decentralization means the dispersal of authority to the various levels of management in the organization. When this authority that is dispersed amongst the various levels, so it is the policy decision how much authority has to be dispersed amongst the various levels. The hierarchy that is created, the various levels in the organization that is there in the organization, and when the authority is distributed to the various levels in the organization, it is what is termed as decentralization of authority. So there is a term which is delegation of authority, and there is another term which is decentralization of authority. When we say delegation is between superior and subordinates, but when we talk about decentralization, we see that authority that is transferred to the various levels, it is not between superior and subordinate. So we will be learning about how the centralization and the decentralization policy that can be taken up by any organization. So there are few things which has to be very clearly understood, that this centralization and decentralization, it is optional policy decision. Whether the organization is going to run in a completely centralized pattern or decentralized pattern, that may differ from organization to organization. So it is optional. It is not compulsory, like in case of delegation of authority, which is compulsory, because a single manager cannot handle all the tasks, the different types of tasks which he has to carry out simultaneously. That is why he transfers some of his tasks to his subordinate, so that that work can be done properly in the organization. Whereas when we talk about decentralization and centralization, it is optional whether the organization wants to centralize, work in a centralized way, or it wants to decentralize, or it wants to have both centralization and decentralization. That differs from organization to organization. So the degree of centralization and decentralization may differ because it is optional. But it is always advisable that complete centralization or complete decentralization should be avoided in any organization. It is obvious that an organization which has balance between centralization and decentralization, this is what Fayol suggested, that each and every organization should have a balanced approach towards centralization and decentralization. There should neither be complete centralization nor there should be complete decentralization. Because if there is only centralization, that means complete centralization, then it would obviate the need of management hierarchy. There are different levels of management which is working. What will be the purpose of the other levels of management if the entire authority, it lies in the hands of only top level management? So complete centralization will concentrate the authority in the hands of only top level management. So there will be nothing for the other levels of management to contribute towards the organization. So it makes no sense. Similarly, if there is only decentralization, that means all the decision making authority or power that has been shared to the lower levels or the other management hierarchy, that means what will the top level management do in that case? The top level management will be of no use. So it would obviate the need of higher level management if there is complete decentralization. So the approach should be such that there should be balance between centralization and decentralization, because both these situations are unrealistic. How much centralization, how much decentralization that the organization is going to do, that depends upon the organization, because the more is the organization complex, the nature of work is complex, the better, the more should be the decentralization policy which should be adopted in the organization. That is why it is always seen that as the organization starts growing in size and complexity, the decentralization increases in the organization, so that the work that can be properly distributed among the various levels, and each and every level can contribute in its own way towards the achievement of the organizational goals. Keeping this in mind, let us understand the importance of decentralization. The first point says it develops initiative amongst the subordinates, because we see that the power or the authority that is distributed amongst the various levels in the organization, that is why the subordinates, they are free to take decisions, they get the autonomy, their role is increased in the organization, and if their role is increased, they feel that they are important in the organization, their decision is valuable for the organization, it increases their self-esteem, and they keep on thinking on a new way to contribute their best towards the achievement of the organizational goals. And in this way, their complete, you may say, knowledge, skill, ability and competence, that can be utilized by the organization, because it increases their initiative, it increases their, you may say, it motivates them from inside to think out of the box and provide something new and valuable to the organization. Second is it develops managerial talent for the future, because the authority is shared at the various levels till the lower level of management. We see that each and every level has its own authority to work, as a result of which they get experience in trying new things, in taking decisions, in you may say, in solving the problems of the organization. So in a way, they are getting training to develop themselves for future managerial talent if it is required in the organization through promotion, because in this way they are prepared. Then quick decision making. Third, we see that as each and every level has its own power to take decisions in the organization, so decisions are taken by the different levels of managers in the organization, and there is no need for top level management to certainly take all the decisions, as a result of which we see that each and every level can rely on its own decision without asking anyone, and in this way the decisions can be made quickly whenever it is needed related with their work, so there is no dependence on anyone, and it is beneficial for the organization when such type of flexibility or freedom is given to the subordinates. Fourth is relief to the top management, because the top management, once the entire, you may say, routine work that is distributed amongst the various levels in the organization, the most important work that lies with the top level management, and the top level management can focus on that work mainly which is related with policy decisions, and see that it can make its time useful and contribute in a much better manner towards you may say planning for the organization in the best possible manner, so that the organization can benefit out of it. Had there been no delegation, the entire, you may say, decisions had to be taken by the top level management, and the result would be that there would be requirement of top level management over all the work and its supervision, which is not there in the organization because of the decentralization of work. And we see that the top level management can focus on the most important works of the organization, and in this way the organization can benefit. Then facilitates growth, because each and every level and the departments, they have the power to take decisions related with their work, as a result of which there is strong competition amongst the various departments working in the organization in an effort to outdo, or you may say in an effort to do better than the other departments, as a result of which there is healthy strong competition in the organization, and the more is the competition, the better are the chances of growth and development in the organization, and in this way the organization benefits. Better control, because we see that once there is decentralization of authority, the departments, the levels, they start working in their own manner with lot of flexibility and autonomy, as a result of which their work can be evaluated in a much better manner. Because their responsibility is fixed, they are answerable towards their work, and it can be certainly checked which all levels or which all departments are not working properly. In this way, we see that once the authority is shared along with the work at the various levels in the organization, the departments, they are able to perform better, because they are held liable towards their work, they are held responsible towards their work, they are held accountable towards their work, as a result of which the evaluation also becomes easy, and the work also is done in a proper manner, and in this way the organization always benefits out of it. So it is always advisable that once the organization starts growing in terms of size, in terms of complexity, in terms of diversity, automatically it should think towards moving from centralization to decentralization. In what way and in what manner, that may differ from organization to organization. Now, last topic, after we have learnt about centralization, decentralization and delegation, there is also need to understand, because basic differences we have understood already. Let us have a comparative view between delegation and decentralization to understand in a much better manner the differences between delegation and decentralization. So these are the 5 bases on the basis of which the differences or comparison can be made. The first is nature. We have already learned delegation is something which is compulsory, whereas decentralization, that is optional. An organization may go for decentralization, or it may work as a centralized organization. So it is totally optional. Freedom of action, we see that there is less freedom of action because authority is shared only between superior and subordinates, whereas there is greater freedom of action in case of decentralization, because authority is shared at various levels. It is not between superior and subordinate, it is amongst the hierarchies in the organization, the hierarchies which are created in the organization. Status, the purpose of delegation is to share tasks between superior and subordinate, whereas when we talk about decentralization, it is a policy decision how much authority has to be taken up by the top level and how much has to be shared amongst the other levels of the management. That is all a part of the policy decision. Scope, delegation is narrower in scope because it is between superior and subordinate, whereas when we talk about decentralization, it is always wider in scope because authority is shared by many. Here authority is shared between 2. Then purpose, the purpose of delegation is to lessen the burden of the manager. Once the manager, he has to do different types of work and he feels overburdened, then he shares his task by providing some authority related with completion of that task to his subordinate to get it done. So to lessen the burden of the manager, and here it is to provide autonomy to subordinates. So in this way we see that delegation of authority is to multiply it by 2, but when we decentralize it, we multiply it by many. So delegation means authority is multiplied by 2, whereas when we talk about decentralization, authority is multiplied by many in the organization. With this we have completed this lesson, organizing, and then next we will be talking about our new lesson, and that is staffing, in our next lecture. Till then, take care. Thank you.